So some good things coming across in the chat that spark some, I think, some things to talk about. So Angelique has put this additional, and this is nice. My quality is to clarify what is necessary as the next step on a person's path, and that's the outcome, right? Where, I mean, the next step is, okay, where do they want to be? And to create in the form of a power shield for them to work with, so that they would be able to understand that work and have those tools. It would come with an art piece or a private session for her to, so that they can practice themselves, so they can apply what it is that she innately knows. Really good, Angelique. Tara, out of the box thinker with the ability to help others to see the good in things, even through difficult times, to raise spirits and the hope of good to come. So what you'll want to add to that, Tara, is you want to say, I am an out of the box thinker, because now we have a reality statement. You are claiming who you are. And Susan Therese has come back with, I am co-creating a gateway for those seeking peace, connection, and the call of their inner voice to expand and awaken. They find me effortlessly within the galactic landscape. And I really want to reiterate here that when I speak of the galactic landscape, I certainly speak of those of us who are consciously learning it and applying it. We are setting a whole new model in place, new DNA and all that. But that doesn't in any way exclude those who just kind of intuitively know it's there and find the vibrations that we are now holding strongly. So that's great. The values are weaving energies together and finding someone's red thread in one's life, crystallizing the qualities to develop. I really like how you're starting to think and reframe and reform. But then it occurs to me, well, what if you don't know what your what is yet? Because some of you don't know, you just know there's something new you want to do and you don't know what that is. You set the end results. When you work with energy, when you understand and are the master of energy, you determine the outcome. So you don't know what it is yet. So here's some ideas. What kind of individuals do you like to work with? Do you like to work with teenagers, with children, with parents, with adults? What's the group that really sparks your interest? That's something to think about. And what is the experience that you want? It doesn't, with a reality statement, it does not have to be specific and it doesn't have to be concrete. It can be quality oriented. So for example, let's take Avi. Avi wants a side hustle. She wants something, but it's not just any kind of a side hustle. She wants a side hustle that brings meaning to her life, that's fun to do, that's working with the kind of people she likes to work with. So she would claim, I have, I mean, you could use side hustle, that's your word, you can use side hustle. I have a side hustle that I absolutely love, that is impacting teenagers, I'll just use that, in a way that lets them explore possibilities and find what is of interest to them. And my heart is happy. And you wouldn't even have to, you wouldn't even have to be that specific. It could be, I have been led to my perfect side hustle that is impacting individuals in ways that bring greater joy and happiness to them, and my heart is happy. You see, but you set an end result. All of us do not know. Some of us think we know, and some of us know what we know, and we say this is what we're going to be doing, and that's good. And some of us are even like, I don't even know that much. That's good too. But you do know that you want this, some kind of additional thing in your life like Orlanthus thinks. She wants something right now. She's thinking it would be really fun to do, to be able to do the real estate investing market, because that might be something she loves to do. But she's doing that, and people are gonna love her because they're getting houses that they love. She's gonna work with them really well. And this is important to understand. But the main reason she's doing it is to provide a way for her to have quality time and life with her family. And sometimes those of us who are in like serve mode, we sacrifice ourselves, we sacrifice our energy, our time, because we are so in serve mode that we forget that we are on this planet to be nurtured and enjoy the planet. And there's the paradox, and there'll be paradoxes all over the place. Serving others, serving ourselves. Feeding others, feeding yourself. It's really important that you look for the paradox when you're creating this world of meaning and contribution. That, okay, this is I serve others, da 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 da, and it brings this is free time, enough money that I can absolutely travel the planet. Both are important. And the burnout often comes when we're only following and being tugged at by, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Serve harder, serve bigger, so serve more. So the paradox is you're serving others in order also to serve yourself. So your big why, we usually say your big why, I am impacting individuals' lives in ways that bring them joy. But the second side, the flip side of the why, and it has created a thriving culture for me to be with my family in ways that are expansive. They both need to be included. One of the things that helped me in understanding that was to really take on the law of reciprocity. So the law of reciprocity said we do good. It's not the law of karma. Karma is the trick law. The law of reciprocity is what we put in place. We're going to take energy and we're going to use it for good. So here's the serving. I'm doing good. And I am stopping. It doesn't stop the flow of the good. It doesn't stop the impact of the good. But you turn that good over. I've done 3 sessions today. I'm going to turn those sessions over to their causal teams. You guys have it? Yes, we have it. You need anything more from me? No, we're good. Great. I can turn it over, and that continues while I be still, be in the void, be in the neutrality, let in more energy. And in that energy, what am I going to do? I'm going to use some of it, maybe to go swimming at the beach. A balanced life. So at this point, any questions that anybody has, let's pop them up.
This is really difficult for me,
to
be perfectly honest. It's really challenging, right? Because, my vision has been, get that book out, get that book out, get that book out, put it out there, and it's coming in November. And I'm giving it to you, like trusting, but then I'm like, I don't have like a roadmap in my head anymore, because it was always when that book comes out. Now the book's coming out, and then there's no map, and I'm having a hard time finding the map.
We're gonna be talking about a map next.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But you don't do the, I mean, most people put a map in the wrong place. Clarifying what it is you want to do, why you want to do it, how it fits, all of that strategy that's where you start. Then the map comes from that. So you're in the right place, Audrey. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Angelique's put in the chat, I serve in my practice for 3 days a week in a row. And the other days of the week I use for my physical, emotional, and spiritual food and enjoying her life. That's a good model. I mean, whatever model, you know, it's being aware of of a model. Okay, so how I'm gonna have you make a list. Oh, no, before we move on to that. Also to consider before you do the roadmap is what is not negotiable. What are some things you will not do in relationship to this idea? What is that are not negotiable? No, they're off the table. Like Angelique, she has 3 days she works and the other day she doesn't. She doesn't say, well, maybe I'll squeak some in on those other 3 days. Non-negotiable. She works 3 days. Non-negotiable that she works those other days. If somebody wants to work with her, then they have to wait till the next 3 days, right, Angelique? Kind of like that. I got it. Close this.
Well, this is for a future program.
Okay. Okay. Great. That's really good. So you've set some non-negotiables, you know?
Yeah, except for my once a month clan mother circle, which is at Zoom, and that's an exception. But the other things, I guess it's better for me and for everyone in my family that I work only 3 days a week, and we do other things for the other days. Everybody's happy then.
That's right.
Me at the most.
Yes, right. Right.
Yeah.
So there might be some things you don't want to do. Like, for example, you might not want to do one-on-one coaching. You might want to do, if I'm going to teach classes, I want to do it together because it's more fun.
Yeah, me too.
You see?
Yeah. I love both, really. Yeah.
So, and you may not know what your non-negotiables are right now, but think about that. The other thing, Arlie, in relationship to, you know, when you choose a segment, and there is a large need, a really large need, especially for women who are alone or parenting alone or whatever. I mean, they really are struggling with time, with money, and with everything, right? And so how will you factor in that when they ask, they begin to receive. So when they're asked, you've got to moving people out of handout mentality, which is how we've helped in the past. Handout, and then there's then the expectation that there's a handout, and the handout is the one that's fixing them. And if there's not enough handout, there's something wrong with a handout. You know, that's not on this board. So how have you thought? I mean, this is new, maybe, but
what I was thinking was that there would be a request and a plan put in place for them to pay it forward. Whether that means volunteering hours someplace or spending more time with their kid, a set aside amount of time, a paying it forward that costs them effort and time, or there would be a gift, crystal rock, make me something.
Yeah.
But there would definitely be a payment that is within their capabilities, something that isn't going to take food off the table.
Right.
Something also hopefully that will add to their life, like spending more time with the kid as a pay it forward, or creating a piece of art, a mandala, something else that gets them into a different headspace and forces them to take time for themselves and do a thing that they might not normally do. So that's the sort of thing that I was thinking of. Definite payment, but a payment that would also advance, help, aid them get out of where they are now. Because
Right.
poverty is a grind. When they use the word grind, it's a perfect word. And you need to find ways to step outside so you can look in at what's been happening. Get out of survival mode. That's what I'm saying.
Right, right.
Think of that model.
Yeah, and those are very good ideas. And it's all about not perpetuating the old culture, but presenting a different way coming from a culture you understand, like we'll say the galactic culture. The other thing to think about too is as you put your ideas together, and whatever you choose to step out with, especially at this point in time where we are on the planet, where people are, I mean, how many people out there are looking? Lots, because they've been slammed, right? And how can we reach them? Internet's everywhere. This is a perfect time to step out in some fashion with your idea. One thing to think about is this. Is there someone in your field of awareness that would love to be on board and supportive of the idea? To reach out to specifically to specific partnering. Now, I'll give you an example. I did a park thing. I think it was called, I don't know, Family Fun in the Park or something. And we had all kinds of booths and lots of different new ways of being and thinking, etc. And so I reached out to my state legislature, who had been a preschool teacher or kindergarten teacher, I think, and now is in the legislature, and said, "Would you be interested in hearing about this idea?" She was totally on board with it. She loved it. She probably wasn't going to attend, but nevertheless, she was willing to put her name on any information that went out that says, "Man, this sounds like a great thing for families. Come and join." So again, on the Galactic Land Board, we are collectively doing things. We are working in community in doing things. And so there might be something that's really your thing to do, and you'll reach out to clients, but there might be organizations that would love to know what you're doing and would love to say, yeah, we'll just even put a John Henry, say, yes, that sounds great. So just another idea. Now, before we move on to mapping, on the galactic landscape, you are from a star family. You are one of millions that have incarnated. Not out of the star families, probably 1 or 2% of each star family volunteer to be involved with the Earth mission. So that's you. So 98% of your family members are in various places in the spiritual galactic worlds that can flow information to you, that you can say, hey, do this. And what do I know here? And I mean, amazing amount. I was on a call and somebody said, how are we ever going to change things? Because there's 7 billion people on the planet. I said, it isn't a 100th monkey planet. It's a single person asking planet. And there are 100 times 7 billion ready to step up to the plate. So if I, as one person, said, here's my package, here's my gift, and I say to that 100 times 7 billion, here's my gift, I want you to surround those on the planet with my gift. And those who need me in physical form will find me. But do you have a team besides that? The galactic families beginning was, way long ago, and they've extended, but now we're here. Do you have a spiritual team, a board member type of team to help you with your heart and soul next creation? And if not, make a reality statement that you do. So a reality statement would be similar to like, very simple. I'm putting it in the chat, so. So here's a reality statement. I have a spiritual team of support and guidance that meets with me regularly as we work together to bring this vision into form. And as you write that down, and again, we'll have that in a booklet, move my consciousness into that reality and the consciousness of all those involved. I ask for the PTO and tag team to deep six anything that is, has, or would be in the way of that expression of good. And I call for our causal teams to identify and, if necessary, create the program and codes for the highest expression of that experience for myself and all to whom I'm connected. And download those codes into my, down to the first dimensional field and anchor it into the hard drive, fifth dimension of this life experiences. That reality is chosen, it's designed, it's cleared, it's downloaded, it's anchored, it's activated, and so it is. I have a client, and she needed to move from the West Coast to the central part of the United States. She was going to be an 8-hour drive. She's doing it alone. I said, do you have a team? She said, well, no, I haven't thought about a team. I said, well, you need a team. So she created a team. She created a name for them, and she talked and walked with them through her drive. Another client going through cancer. I said, do you have a team? She said, I don't think so. Well, I said, well, then what's your reality? What's the end result? Now we can get a team. And who do you know that you really might want to make sure is on your team? I had a friend, she worked at Micron in Idaho, and they were offering additional higher level courses they would pay for because it would enhance her job and she'd get more money. And she said, I'm going. So she did, and she ran into this math class. She wasn't really especially a math student, and she found it extremely daunting. And finally, the instructor came to her and said, if you don't pull your grades up, Micron's not going to pay for this. So you got to think about that. And she was struggling. She was doing everything she knew to do. And so she talked to a mutual friend, and she said, well, who do you have a team? I don't think so. Well, who would you want on your team that would be really good at math? She said, well, Einstein would be good at math. She said, okay, then call him in, have him on your team. So she did. Will you be on my team? He said, sure, I'll be on your team. So from that point on, every time she had an assignment, she called in Einstein and said, well, how do I do this problem? And he'd say, step by step. Here's the first step. Here's the second step. And step by step, step by step. Her grades started to go up. She took the final test, which had a bonus question on it, right? And so she took the final test, and her instructor called her into his office later after, and he said, you aced the test, but how did you know how to do the bonus question? I don't even know how to do the bonus question, and you did it. She looked him in the eye and she said, step by step. So there, how much are we missing because we have been playing on a landscape that says all this stuff is woo-woo and ridiculous. So play with it. Go for broke. Okay, now we're going to take a 5-minute break. And when we come back, I'm going to have you make a list of the various ways you would share this idea. Like Audrey talked about a book. What are some of the other ways? And so when you come back, we're going to talk about those ways and how that would fit together. So is 5 minutes enough, or do you need 10? If you need 10, raise your hand.
I'd love to say good night to everybody. I have to leave. I have to go to bed and sleep.
Okay, glad you were
Sorry
with
for
us,
that. It was
Angelique.
wonderful being with you, but we are leaving tomorrow early and spread my mom's ashes over the heather. So that's a beautiful ceremony. So I leave it up to you, and I give thanks for everyone, to you especially, Sharon. Good.
Thank you,
Good night.
sweetie. Many blessings from all of us, I'm sure, as you do your work tomorrow. Bye, love.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So 10 minutes. I had one request for 10. Oh. Looks like we're going to let 5:10. We're going to do, we'll go for 10. Five would be enough, but some are asking for 10. So let's go at 10, which means 22 after the hour. Okay. So I'll see you back then.